Hey y'all, this is Matt, and in this video we will be doing another deck matchup, this time against Infinitrack Machina. So Infinitrack Machina is one of those weird rogue decks that kind of reminds me of like speedroid. It's like an Earth version of speedroid, except instead of making a bunch of synchro boss monsters, they make a bunch of Xyz boss monsters. And they are an OTK deck, which I don't know if speedroids are. I don't think speedroids are OTK, but they could be. Yeah. There's one dude at my locals who plays Infinitrack Machina every freaking week. Like he's always there. So I've definitely faced him a number of times. Oh man, his turns take forever. Like I don't think I've played a game against him or seen him play a game where it didn't go to time. Like I swear, I think he's just banking on the fact that he's just winning through like timing out, like running out of time and like just having higher life points, right? Because Infinitrack Machina does have an Xyz monster that burns for 2,000. So anyway, yeah. So I finally found one online, and this is a very fun match. Game two in particular, I had a lot of fun with because I definitely like took an approach that was less orthodox than what I normally take. But yeah, it was a 2-0. But yeah, let's get into it. So game one, I believe I win a die roll. Yep. And Red Eyes Fusion, very simple opening. Circle into Salvation, which will get me Eternal Soul. But before I search, I get Eternal Soul. I do a draw one because when I use Circle, I saw there was a Judgment on top of my deck. So yeah, I want to get that Judgment before searching Eternal Soul. So now I have let's see, 4 interruptions: Dragoon Negate, Circle with Soul Banish, Dogmatic Punishment, which can pop 2, and then Judgment. So I'm going into his turn with 4 interruptions. Yeah, this is a really strong board. I don't see anything that could really break this, except like Droplet into like Lightning Storm or something. But even that, like I have Judgment, so yeah, very hard to break this board. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Yeah, he's just gonna summon trains like infinitely. It's really annoying. So I end up using Eternal Soul here because he goes into a level. So he uses this Harvester's effect to make both of these monsters level 9s because he wants to go into a level 9 Xyz summon. So for those who don't know, there is a level 9 Xyz monster that's well, at least the dude at my locals runs. Let me see if he has it here. Uh, yeah, this is the one. So this card says um, you can attach any number of materials from this. So this is a 3100 beater, so it can run over Dragoon, right? So if he summons this, he could attack Dragoon and then use its effect in main phase 2, which is attach any number of materials and target that many cards on the field, destroy them, right? So he would pop 2 cards on the field. So I actually decide, instead of letting him go into this, I'm just going to banish this fortress here. Another reason I want to banish the fortress is because fortress has an ability that allows him to special summon from the graveyard. So like even if he uses Xyz material and then later detached, he can just special summon back. It's really obnoxious. So I'm just gonna go ahead and banish it. Yeah, so he's not gonna get his level 9 Xyz, so he goes into a link. I negate that, so he has no monsters, but he still gets a revive. Yeah, so I only need to do 2 interruptions. Eternal Soul with Circle Banish and the Dragoon guy. Still held Judgment and Punishment. So yeah, um, a lot of these trains they can just like recycle back in the deck or they just revive each other from the graveyard. They're really annoying. But yeah, just know that that's one of the outs for Dragoon. Like this guy here, Infinitrack Earth Slicer, a very common one. Oh, and actually. He has another one here called Phantom Fortress. Says once per turn, attach one material and activate one of these effects, banish 1 card your opponent controls. So I guess this is also an out for Dragoon, but Dragoon can negate this easily, whereas this guy, he's just going to attack and run over Dragoon, right? Because it's a 3100 attacker. So yeah, definitely do not, and yeah, Dingirsu is another one, but that's a level 8 Xyz, so I wasn't, because he made level 9s, I wasn't worried about that. Anyway, let's carry on. So got Soul Servant just gonna pop. He's gonna use this to grab another monster. Okay, it doesn't matter. He's going to revive his Citadel. I'm just going to pop it. He's going to try to, I guess, pop Dark Magician or something. Yeah, and then just attack for game. Yeah, so, yeah, the Citadel is really annoying because it has an effect when it's on the field. You can destroy monsters, like one machine monster on its field, and then destroy all monsters with less attack than that machine monster. So with a 3,000 attack beater here, yeah, like if Dragoon and Dark Magician did not have attack like their effects or protection from Eternal Soul or like the destruction immunity, like Machina could have popped both of them. So yeah, fortunately it didn't do anything. But yeah, so this is yeah. So game one was pretty sad. Like it was not even close. Game two was a little bit more interesting. Before I get into that, let's talk about side decking. So what did I side deck? So I do have I am running Ice Dragon's Prison in this version of the profile. I do keep Ice Dragon's Prison because it's really good because his deck is all Earth Machine monsters, right? So this is like perfect in this deck. I want to say I take out Nadir Servant. So I definitely put in Nibiru's, right? Because I'm expecting to go second. I definitely put in Nibiru and I put in Pankratops. And I take out Nadir Servant, and I think I take out one Solemn Judgment. I think that, yeah, so I just do a four swaps here, I think. Although in retrospect, Punishment isn't that great into this deck because they don't have a lot of monsters that are 2,500 or less, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what I do. Nibiru and Pankratops as my main sides. I mean, you'll soon see that in game two, like, it didn't really matter. I don't really see my sides anyway. But yeah, so let's, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what I did. Okay, so let's get back to game two. Alright, so even though they're an OTK deck, a lot of players do like to go for, like, I would say the better Machina Infinitrack players do prefer to go first. Simply so they can, like, they can set up an okay board. It's not the best, like, I think speedroids can set up a better board. But, yeah, so, and the dude at my locals, he always chooses to go first whenever he can. So, yeah, I side deck assuming I was going to go second. Even though, like, I have played some, like, other, like, Infinitrack Machina players in the past who do choose to go second. But, I mean, my side deck was such that, like, I could have been made to go first or second. Like, I kept my judgments, I kept Ice Dragon's Prison, I kept Skill Drain, so there was, yeah, like, yeah, I didn't have Summon Limit, which I would have sided in if I knew I was going first, but I had enough, like, back row and, like, going first cards that it didn't matter. So he does make me go second, and oh, it's funny, we both open Called by the Grave, so this is going to lead to some interesting interactions, so let's see what happens. Alright, so he's going to combo off, summon a bunch of trains. Blah. So surprisingly, he doesn't get much else here. So Machina Fortress does have a semi-interrupt where it says if this monster is targeted by a monster effect, then he can look at my hand, discard a card from my hand, and it says, and if this monster is destroyed by battle, he gets to pop one of my cards. So this is sort of an annoying, although I do have Call by the Grave, so that's always an option. And then this train is annoying because it's a 3K beater, and it says during the end phase, if it's in graveyard, you can just like add a machine monster to his hand. So this monster can effectively cycle back all the time. So I do not open Dragoon, unfortunately, but because of his board, I don't feel too intimidated. He doesn't really have like major interrupts. He has Called by, I guess, and Imperm, but yeah. So let's see what happens. So what I do, I use Dark Magical Circle because I do plan on bringing out Dark Magician to banish one of his monsters. So I decide to banish this train simply because if it goes to the graveyard, it's just gonna cause more problems for me later. So I just want him banished, and it's a 3K beater. So I link into Imduk because for those of you who may forget, Imduk has a funny little effect where if it points to a monster and attacks it, it just destroys the monster by a card effect. So, yeah, so this monster has an effect where it's destroyed by battle, but Imduk will not destroy it by battle, destroy it by card effect. So this is cute, because then he won't be able to trigger this monster. So I'm gonna go to battle phase, attack it, destroy it, and he's done. Yeah. So main phase 2, I get my Eternal Soul. So I have my Dark Magician, Eternal Soul, and Circle, and then I'll set Call by the Grave and Judgment. So real quick thing. So I notice he has 2 sets. I don't know. I do not know he has an Infinite Impermanence, right? I did not see it in game 1, although he did have it. I just didn't see it. But you should always play as if they have Infinite Impermanence. So I assume that one of these 2 cards could be Infinite Impermanence. If so, I don't want to set Call by the Grave in the same column as it, right? But I have to set Solemn Judgment in one of these 2 columns. I don't have a choice. But because Solemn Judgment is a counter trap, then he would have to preemptively use Imperm before I use Judgment. So he cannot chain Imperm to my Judgment. So this is like a lot weaker, right? So the fact that it's in the same column doesn't really matter here. Like he would have to know I have Judgment and like preemptively play Infinite Imperm to like negate Imduk before I play Judgment. And even then, like I don't know, it just wouldn't make much sense, right? Especially since he didn't even see that I had Judgment in game 1. So yeah, so whenever you see set cards like this, assume one of them could be Infinite Impermanence or even Broken Line, honestly, and set counter traps on those columns. Like avoid them if you can. Like I put Call by the Grave here, but set a counter trap if you can't avoid it, right? Anyway, let's see what he does. So I have a number of interruptions here. So he makes this guy, okay. He negates all right. So he brings out this massive beater, 4600 attack, and his effect says he can be special summoned from the graveyard by banishing monsters or the hand, right? So I decide, okay, this guy has to go. So I immediately Eternal Soul and go into banish this guy. So yeah, because his ability says when your opponent activates a card effect during the battle phase, right? So I can't let him get to battle phase. Maybe I should have been more patient and waited until the end of main phase. But yeah, I absolutely cannot let him get to battle phase, otherwise he can negate my Eternal Soul, right? So I'm just going to use it now and banish this fool. So he tries to Call by the Grave my Dark Magician, which could be a problem if it happens, but I have Solemn Judgment. And he cannot Imperm because Spell Speed 3, Spell Speed 2. Like, here's a case study right here of why this is useful. Alright, so I'm gonna banish this guy. Now he tries to Imperm, but it's a little too late. Like, I don't know why he bothers with this. Is like, Imduk isn't gonna do anything to you. And then he banishes this to shuffle some cards back. So this is a misplay that I make. So this card says, banish this card from the graveyard, target up to 3 machine monsters that are banished or in your graveyard, shuffle them into your deck, and draw 1 card. So he's gonna recycle back 2 of his banish and 1 of his graveyard. So I foolishly think that like I foolishly try to Call by the Grave his graveyard monster, thinking that he would lose a target, but and then this card wouldn't resolve. But actually, like since the target has to be within graveyard or banish pile, like it doesn't change anything that I move it. So this is a misplay. I should have saved this Call by the Grave. Yeah, because it resolves anyway. Anyway, so he kills Imduk. Doesn't matter. And then so I draw Ice Dragon's Prison, which is a great draw. And it would allow me to have an additional like interrupt on his turn. So instead of going to Link Spider, I'm just going to attack this guy and then Link Spider in main phase 2 so that I have Dark Magician in the bin for the next turn, right? So I'm going to go battle phase. So he actually decides, so this is funny, to Machina Overdrive, which will, what does it say? Target this monster, special summon 1 Machina from different name, from hand deck, and then destroy. So he's basically going to destroy this monster and bring out a different monster, right? So he brings out this 2800 beater, which is hilarious because look what he's gonna do his effect, like whatever. But look what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna attack into it. So Dark Magician suicides, and then I immediately bring him back. And then I banish this guy, and then I can attack again because it's a new monster, right? Yeah, so I got to banish without having to go into Link Spider. So this is funny. Like, it's actually convenient that like a lot of these machine monsters are over 2500 because I can just crash DM into it and then just immediately revive him. I don't need to rely on these Link summons. It's very funny. Yeah. So then I do go into Link Spider here. So I have one interrupt here from Soul Circle and then 1 interrupt from Ice Dragon's Prison. So this is funny. All right. Let's see what he does. So he's gonna shuffle stuff back and draw a card. Doesn't really matter. Blah 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 blah. Summon a thing. And now he's gonna XC summon into River Stormer. So for those who don't know, River Stormer is a rank 5 XCs that this deck uses, and it's basically like a really nice, really useful extender, right? If you read what his two effects, it says, so if River Stormer destroys one of my monsters by battle, he attaches that monster as material. So if he kills Link Spider will become material, right? And then he says, detach one material from this card, take an earth monster from my deck, add it to hand. So he essentially gets a foolish burial or like a Rhoda, right? Like from a detaching. And his third effect says, if this card is in the graveyard, I contribute an earth link machine link monster and special summon this card from the graveyard in defense position. So this is a really annoying extender. It's similar to I guess the closest thing to like the speedroid deck would be like the Hagoida monster, which just that one level 5 sinker that just always like recycles itself like every turn, and is also like an extender. Like so, I decide, yeah, I don't want him to use any of these effects, so I'm gonna go ahead and banish it. All right, so he's gonna revive a monster, but bring back a monster. So I'm not sure what this is all about. So I haven't really seen this in a Machina deck, so I'm not sure why he went into it. I guess because it says this monster is unaffected by spell and trap effects, but so I can't Eternal Soul Circle banish it, but I can just attack it with Dark Magician. So I don't know. This just seems like a random monster to go into. Maybe he just I don't know, didn't have any other good options. Whatever. So he's gonna attack Link Spider. My turn. So the funny thing is, I'm just like racking up these Sky Striker cards that I can't play because, first of all, I don't have the life points to go into Anaconda anymore, like in Dragoon, and second of all, like Dark Magician is in the main monster zone, and I'm out of Link targets, right? Imduk and Link Spider are the two ways to link away Dark Magician, so I can't actually like ever play these, or like if I could, it wouldn't make much sense. So whatever, I just go in attack mode and kill this guy. Yeah, it's like okay, I'm 2,500, you're 18 or whatever. Alright, so he summons back Machina Fortress and immediately goes into battle phase. So, as a refresh, it says, if this card is destroyed by battle and sends to the graveyard, target one card your opponent controls, destroy that target. So he plans to crash into Dark Magician, use his graveyard effect to pop probably Eternal Soul, because obviously it's been causing problems for him. So I know that's his plan, and he even declares the attack, but I say no, thank you. So I revive this guy with Ice Dragons, and then I banish these two. So the reason I banish this guy, grab this guy is because his effect says, if this card is normal or special summoned. So a common thing that Machina players will do is they'll special summon this card from the graveyard and then use its on summon effect to bring out another monster. So I want him out of the graveyard, whereas he doesn't have any other monsters in the graveyard that have like a graveyard summoning effect or a special summon effect. So anyway, so I'm gonna banish these two. Alright, so I finally get the God draw I've been looking for. And here's the thing, like, people saying, oh, this Ego Booster can be a brick. Like, when you have Magician Souls, no back row card is ever a brick. Like, even though people who complain about having 3 Red Eyes Fusions, like, bruh, like, Magician Souls, not only is it like, can these cards be Dragoon discard fodder, but Souls can literally send it to draw more cards, right? So I end up sending a second Dark Magician to the bin because I'd rather have 2 in rotation, because I have Circle set up. And then I use Summon Souls, and then I use Souls to ditch these two to draw 2. Okay, so I draw Nibiru and Red Eyes Fusion, which Red Eyes Fusion will be great for the following turn. Nibiru is, well, Nibiru, like, I mean, the game's going to end, like, he's at 4,800, and I have a DM in the bin, so I'm just going to revive that DM, banish this card just because I can, go into Link Kuriboh, because Link Kuriboh is awesome, and if you're playing Dark Magician, you should run Link Kuriboh. It's just a fun card. And now I have enough to kill him. So, but if I didn't, like, I can go into Selene, right? Because Selene is just a reason for me to send Dark Magician to the graveyard, so Soul will be active. But also, like, Selene can revive Dark Magician in case something happens to Soul, right? Or whatever. Like, I could also go to the access code, like, whatever. Like, I have options. And assuming the game didn't end, I have Nibiru as like backup, right? And actually, funny story about Nibiru. So, Eternal Soul makes Dark Magician unaffected by your opponent's effects, right? So Nibiru can tribute my Dark Magician, so that's another way to get Dark Magician in the bin. But the fun part is, like, an opponent's Nibiru cannot tribute my Dark Magicians, like, because Eternal Soul protects it. So, interesting little tidbit of, like, nugget of knowledge. Anyway, so I'm just going to attack here. Dark Magician, attack for game. Yep. I don't know, I had fun there. Like, I enjoy, like, just using this, Soul Circle, DM Banish combo. Like, it's fun. Like, sometimes you just have to have one of those games where, you don't need to rely on Dragoon and just, let your vanilla Dark Magicians do all the work. Like, yes, you got you. So look at all this anime representation. You have Yugi's Dark Magician, you have Arcana's Dark Magician, and you have a Karibo, right? Which is homage to Yugi's Karibo. But yeah, so that was pretty fun. Yeah, this Machina, yeah, Infinitrack Machina is just an obnoxious deck. Like, it's just annoying. Like, dude, if you're gonna play a rogue deck that just summons forever, like, just play, like, I don't know, Raid Raptors or something. Like, um, I feel like Infinitrack Machina is just strictly worse than speedroid, which is also worse than, like, Raid Raptor, I think. I don't know. Um, so yeah, so that was fun. Definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, if you ever run into one of these decks at your locals, just know what some of the um, weak points are, what cards you want to look out for, what cards you want to banish, and like what their effects are. So, all right, um, yeah. Hopefully, I'll get to use my Ice Dragon's Prison at my locals against the Infinitrack Machina guy there. And so, anyway, all right. Thanks for watching and take care.